Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market update for Friday, May the 29th. And normally my day to do the nightly video is on Wednesday, but I needed to switch some things around this week, so I'm with you on Friday. So let's jump in here and take a look at things. As you can see, I'll clean this up a little bit. I'll pull ticks down and just look at the market action today. As you can see, we had some crazy, this is SPX, we had a crazy move today. We sold off from the high over here. This was 30.68 yesterday on the SPX. And I thought at this point, 3,100 is probably a layup because our expected move was like 40 points yesterday. And right near the end of the day, we started selling off. I think this was in anticipation of Trump speaking, and he spoke. I think he started speaking here. So all morning, we were down. Notice we came down to 29.98. I mean, essentially 3,000. Little candle wick there, and then just chopped. This is Powell. I think Powell spoke here. I believe, if I have my time correct. But Trump started speaking here, talking about China and Hong Kong. We've got a lot of issues up, the World Health Organization, all that kind of stuff. And then did a abrupt about face, here. I did not listen to the speech. I was doing the main room session at that time, and I don't know what all he said, but obviously it was positive. And then we came up and we chopped here, and we were trying to, determine an end of the day trade if we were going to do something. And we talked about getting long down here off this 3,000 level. And it happened so fast. I was saying, I'm contrarian in a lot of cases because you get these quick turnarounds at the end of the day, and this thing just ripped up here. Then the question is, where do we go into the end of the day? This is the last day of the month, so we will probably have mutual fund Monday coming in. Maybe money comes into play on Monday. We don't know, but we our expected move only got us to 30.40 was the expected move today, and on the downside it was 3,000. So we made the entire expected move up and down in about 1 minute here. And then we got one little push into the end of the day up to almost 30.50. Again, that's SPX, not ES. So that's where we went out on the day, and everything looks pretty positive. So let's back this thing out again. We're going to stick on the S&P for just a second here, and we'll look. As you can see, let me zoom in a little bit here. We've been looking at the same thing for quite a while. I've been looking for range-bound chop between these snow lines for a long time, and that's exactly what we got. Just back and forth. And I was saying at that time, when we were going through all this, I was saying that we will most likely break to the downside and revisit this fire line here. This is a voodoo fire line at 26.50. But the market always does the exact opposite of what you expect, and we broke out, and we are just running straight as an arrow up to the tree line up there at 31.18. Now we have to get through a couple of levels. We're against the skyline right here. We have 3,000, and this is 31.18, and it overlaps with the 786 retracement here off this low. So let me clean this up a little bit. So my target at the moment is really, I'll bring it down to that skyline, but that's really my target. Now, certainly we could come back down here before we come up here. We could chop. Might get another one of these kind of things and start chopping here before breaking higher, and you do tend to kind of stair step that sometimes. I don't know. The way it's going now, we look like we're going just fast as we can up here. And I've said this in the room, quite a few times, and, understand what I'm saying here. I'm bearish. I don't trust this. We know it's all Fed induced. It's, $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there will actually get you a pretty decent rally in the market, even though the fundamentals aren't there to support it. And we all know that. All you have to do is drive around whatever town you live in and and look. Um, it is crazy to me that I'm wondering when the market's going to catch up with reality, or reality catches up with the market, I guess. But as long as we are in this trend and we're being led by the Nasdaq, you do not want to fight this. So I'm mentally bearish, but my trades are bullish, primarily bullish. Let me show you. Let's look at the. Do I have okay NDX? I mean, look at this. There is nothing whatsoever that's bearish with that. And yes, I could see us pulling back down here to this fire line. We would need a catalyst. And maybe it is continued data that comes out, and when things start looking bad. Because, the market or the economy is driven by the consumer. The market's being driven by the Fed. The economy is driven by the consumer, and the consumers are saving more. Yes, I see an uptick in savings last month, but I don't see an uptick in consumer spending. So it's going to catch up with itself. So I'm preparing probably more for July, August as a pullback. Kind of the rut, kind of same way. We've got there's nothing bearish about any of these charts, honestly. So again, I'm going to look for continued upside with the being fully aware that we could pull back at any moment. Depending on what kind of news we get and how far and all that kind of stuff. I'm probably not visualizing this, taking out this low and all that kind of stuff. If we were to have a second wave and it was bad and that kind of stuff, yeah, we could probably do that. And I do think I'm still firmly in the W camp, not the V-shaped recovery, because I think we're getting into pretty sketchy area up here where we will run out of gas at some point. I just don't know how high we will go before that happens. And then on the other side, I don't know how sharp this pulls back, or do we go into another consolidation phase or not. So I hope that makes sense, what I'm saying. And the way you trade that, of course, is to shorten your time frames. I'm trading most of my trades I'm in. I wish I had averaged it all out before I did this video, but I'm probably in my trades 4 or 5 days now, which my average last year was probably 17, 18 days or longer. So I'm tightening up my time frame. I'm doing fewer number of trades, and I'm keeping more cash, and trying to play it like that, and taking profits when I get them, and and just being a lot more concerned about my trade management, because again, this thing can, it's a whippy market. We can pull back pretty dramatically at any point, or we can run higher at any point based on what Trump says, based on what China does, based on what the Fed says, etc. So we don't know how the market's going to digest everything from what Trump talked about this weekend. We cut ties with the World Health Organization and all that stuff. I don't know how that's going to be interpreted and how we'll come out on Monday, but again, I'm going to continue to look higher until I'm proven wrong, because you don't want to get on the short side of this thing and have it keep ripping up higher and higher and higher. So as always, be careful out there. Size small, be careful, and that's what I've got for you. So hope this makes sense, hope it helps, and I will talk to you guys at the next update. Thanks a lot.